My name is Dinara and I'm a representative of Corporate Development Department of KIMEP University. We are working on students' employment, corporate relations, and alumni association. Today is our 11th alumni talk issue and the first one in English. Our guest is Akhmet Ishmukhamedov, KIMEP Graduate BSc Program 2010 and Master of Law Program 2014. Akhmet has professional experience of more than 10 years in private and public sectors in Kazakhstan, South Korea, USA, Singapore, and UK. He is currently working on developing a new promising EduTech company that will help schools and universities to find high-quality educators from any part of the world. Also, Akhmet is a founder and executive director of Sawat Strategy Company that is currently based in Singapore and supports SMEs in food and education sectors in entering markets in Central Asia and Southeast Asia. Today, Akhmet will tell us how to run business in Singapore, business culture, human capital, competition, adaptability, and entrepreneurial mindset. All your questions, please write in chat. Akhmet will answer it after the presentation. Akhmet?
Dinara, thank you so much. It was a very long introduction, and I didn't know that it's me. I thought it may be somebody else, but I really appreciate it. It reminds me of some stories, of course. I like stories very much, and I really appreciate for those of you who came on time, and I can name everyone: Sanduga, Sharman, Rustem, Ilyas, Aymen, Daniel, Ailana, Nurali, Samat, Nurai, Almira. Let's just take opportunity of Zoom meeting, correct? So I can see everyone. Elmira, Sanel, Bigzad, Alima, of course, Raushan, Aizada. Thank you so much. And it's my second talk. I've been second time invited by KIMEP, and I'm super glad and very happy to share my experiences as alumni. Just recently, I think 2 days ago, I watched several videos by KIMEP alumni success stories. It reminded me a lot about my KIMEP life. So, and I'm glad to contribute back by sharing any insights that could be helpful to students, to alumni, and of course, anytime you can ask me a question. Today, I have also invited my colleague, Carol Kwok. She's a corporate secretary who actually is who has more than 30 years of experience incorporating companies in Singapore. And I, of course, will share why we work with Carol, how we manage to collaborate. So all of that will come. And I really appreciate Carol's time, because in Singapore right now it's 7:30. It's out of working time, but Carol agreed. So thank you. And during the Q&A, Carol will be able also to help me to answer some of the questions that you can ask regarding the company incorporation in Singapore. One thing, Dinara, when everybody is muted, I feel very weird because I can't hear anything. So if Dinara, you can at least, maybe you can turn on the voice, so I can at least hear some background sound that not. Yeah, thank you so much. And you can interrupt me anytime if I'm not looking somewhere, if there are some questions going and you would like me to answer. Okay. So I would like it to be very flexible, very of course insightful. It will be if audience will ask question. So let me start. Today, I would like to tap on what I've told last time during the career talk about hard skills and soft skills for your career growth. And this balance helps to create a new businesses also. And that's a topic today, like how I have created my business here in Singapore. And of course, without balance of soft skills and hard skills, I will be frank, I will not be able to achieve. Most likely I could be, how can I say, a corporate clerk, as I would say. But as today I will discuss also entrepreneurial mindset, all of that brought to building a business here in Singapore. Um, so if we start today, I'm going to talk about 5 aspects of running business in Singapore. From my perspective, by the way, everything that I will share is based on my particular experience. Sometimes it can be unique, you can't repeat it, and it's not possible to repeat. Some can be general that you can repeat, but everything that I will tell will based on my experience of running the business and opening the business. Why I would like to make that disclaimer, because there are different ways to incorporate company in Singapore, different intentions. And I will elaborate more on that, what I mean by that. So I will talk about business culture. I will talk about human capital here in Singapore. I will talk about competition that we are facing. And then I will talk about how we can adapt in this changing environment, especially in pandemic environment. And at the end, it's of course the entrepreneurial mindset to grow the markets. And this question about how to incorporate the company, I think was asked by colleagues at KIMEP last time. And I said one word, it's hard. And it's from one side it's hard, from other side it's easy. So if we talk about business culture in Singapore, and those of you who were a little bit earlier, we have discussed like how situation with COVID-19, how is right now businesses, are they going to normal, are we expecting second wave? And we discussed that actually the very important data point about business culture in Singapore, it's a practicality. Practicality in everything. Practicality in budget allocation for startup development. So it's every penny counts. It's not like a free money goes. It's actually money goes to only those companies, Singapore registered companies, who have 30% of equity belonging to Singapore citizen or permanent resident. It's important to know, to understand that, because it's a very practical to make sure that everything, whatever company earns, also stays in Singapore. And 30% is a significant portion of your equity. My company, Sawat Strategy, the history goes of this company actually, I would say back in 1989, when the first time my father incorporated the company under the brand Sawat. And for those of you in Kazakhstan, of course, you know what Sawat means. Sawat, it means wise intellectual strategy, yeah? So at that time, my father opened, it's like a educational institute to teach Kazakh language and IT at that time in 1989. But then after Soviet Union collapsed, he stopped that. So in 2015, after I finished working for government in Kazakhstan, I established my company in Kazakhstan under the same brand, Sawat Strategy, with the goal to support SMEs to enter Central Asian market, and of course Kazakhstan to be as a core to go there. And when I came to Singapore, I mean, many of you who maybe heard my first story, first talk, I don't want to repeat, but a long story short, I came to Singapore in 2016 to do my MBA and then to grow my business. So that was the logic. And why Singapore? Because Singapore is the hub for Asia Pacific region for many companies. Due to this practicality of business culture, due to rule of law, due to access to resources, both human capital, financial resources, and of course, being at the age, like Kazakhstan is in the Silk Road, One Belt, One Road. It's strategically located. Singapore is strategically located for transport within the Asia Pacific, in more particular Southeast Asia. So after working at the corporate here, I graduated from MBA, I joined corporate, then I left corporate because I'm more entrepreneurial, and I found it after 1.5 years working there. So at that time, I mean, before that, opening my company here in Singapore, I had already almost 3.5 years of experience in breathing this environment here. And in terms of the practicality, I want to give you this example. I worked in Korea too. So in Korea, for example, if you are meeting with business partners, most likely they're going to be in the ties. Most likely they're going to be in a suit. Everything will be prepared. You know, like they will greet you from the first floor, then go to the meeting. In Singapore, it will not happen. In Singapore, the weather is very hot. It's plus 30 on average. So it's very rarely when people are wearing long sleeves. Yeah, it's always short sleeves. And nobody wears ties because it's hot. And it was very weird. You know, when I was joining corporate, I was always wearing tie, long sleeve. Everybody was looking, why? Like, it's not practical. Are you sweating? Like, don't do that. Just any meeting you can go like this and no need to have a suit. Wow. I said, okay, very practical indeed. So, and this goes to everything that businesses do here. They will not, I mean, here businesses will not talk with you if it is not, how can I say, it's just, if it's just a talk. They will talk only if there is some interest or genuine interest, not like more introductory. You can ask me more about that, but that's a point I want to introduce about the business culture. Practicality, it's a mixture of Asia and British, because a lot of collaboration with British culture here too. Many buildings like Raffles Place, roads were influenced by that. The second point I would like to mention is a human capital. Human capital here is super, how can I say, qualified due to educational standards, due to attraction of foreign high quality talent. So here it's not so hard to find high quality talents for your business, but you have to pay a lot, correct? So there's a big range. The salary of entry, the salary of fresh graduate from undergrad, I think it will be around maybe 3.5 thousand, 4,000, sometimes 5,000 Singapore dollars. So it's around, if in US dollars, 4,000, I would say. If you are as a foreigner and you come with a family, you would like to have your EP, the salary that the company must provide you must be minimum of 6,500 Singapore dollars. And of course, the more the better, the more chances to get employment pass for that. So from human capital perspective, it's also a great place because of attraction of many ethnic groups here. From all parts of Southeast Asia, and you can have this diversity in your teams. Another thing, when we talk about incorporating a company in Singapore, we should think about strong competition. I mean, I'm in the business of consulting, and you know, there's so many consultants in Singapore from everywhere, local, foreign, but foreign, you can say American, British, European, I don't know, Japanese, Korean, Indonesian, a lot. It's a very competitive market, especially for consulting. What I'm also doing. I mean, you can repeat it, what I'm doing. What we do, so our strategy, we support small and medium enterprises to enter markets in Southeast Asia and Central Asia. So any company who are interested in these markets can come to us. And what we'll do industry analysis for them. We'll do market entry strategy design. We do partner due diligence. We will do business translation. And recently we started providing services to move your offline event to online via Zoom mostly. So very basic. And these kind of services provided by many companies. So how to survive? Then the second question comes of adaptability. And here the survival comes on how you react to different signals in the market. What I mean by that? So by the way, I started my company here in Singapore during pandemic. I mean, it's good that I established it in January 2020 when it was not so clear how pandemic will go. So I think if I knew, maybe I will stay with the corporate. But then if you said one thing, you should go further. So in March, when I was already running and pandemic was already hitting, everybody was territories are closed, no flights. Then you have to do something, correct? Where you get the clients, because in consulting, the most what is clients, and we're quite new. Of course, it's not a new business for me. Consulting, we had already clients when I was running Kazakhstan, but here it's a new market. And why us, not anybody else who are already operating in this market for a while? So how you need to adapt? You have to understand your core values. And that's a driver of your services. It's a driver of your message to clients. It's a driver of your communication with everyone, including corporate secretary. And Carol, I think he can share all of our discussions during the incorporation, after incorporation, and right now we're incorporating the second company. Sometimes Carol says different stuff, yeah. But I really appreciate. So what I did is, again, combine my soft skills and hard skills, reach out to all of my previous clients and say, here we go, I'm here in Singapore if you lost where I am. But of course, I kept in touch with them before. And then strategically, every day I was reaching to my network in various parts of the world. And we're promoting Singapore as a place for the growth in Asia, especially in this pandemic, because everything is online and no boundaries. It's a good opportunity to look for different markets and explore during this kind of quiet time. And you know, it was quite successful. I think already the second month, I got a clients from United States, from Korea, from Kazakhstan, from Europe, Spain, and from Singapore too. So steadily, of course, once you take a project, even though it's small or medium, you have to deliver. And then it goes word of mouth. And if we say we have to deliver, it means you should have a team. But when I established, everything started by myself with the support of Carol. So Carol is a co-member of our team. And here, of course, I can't, how can I say, it's really hard to evaluate, but you can't do anything without mentors, especially in this market, who help you to guide through all of this process. And I'm super lucky that, I mean, of course, it's my also soft skills and hard skills to create that trust-based mentor network that helped me to also incorporate company. And of course, one of the mentors that I have is Cha Kun Son, and he actually recommended me to work with Carol, corporate secretary. And when he first heard that I'm planning to incorporate company, he said, Ahmed, how I can help you? So that's the encouragement to step in and move forward. So that's regarding the adaptability to find opportunities and value creation for your clients. And I found it. It's a pandemic. It's Asia is growing, and we're here. And we know each other for a long time. For example, previous clients, and I also asked them, "Can you refer?" And we had a lot of meetings through, of course, Zoom at that time. I mean, this year it's mostly Zoom, and we came up with projects, and that gave me some will to move forward. And when we say the last thing, and I'm watching the time, the last thing is entrepreneurial mindset. When you think about creating a company, entrepreneurial mindset, how you can do more with the limited resources. That's the entrepreneurial mindset. Doing more with limited resources, and my resources were quite limited. From human capital perspective and from financial perspective. So how to deliver projects with me being the 100% shareholder, yeah, and the only person full-time working. Then I said that I thought I can tap on opportunities from NUS, National University of Singapore network. And when I was a student MBA, I did a credit bureau internships, and I did my own internship. Sometimes it was pro bono internships just for experience. And I thought, why not to attract interns from National University of Singapore to my company for real projects, not theoretical projects, but real projects where they will gain experience and we will learn together. So I have approached my school, National University of Singapore Business School, and shared that I'm looking for interns. Believe me, but after they made advertisement, I got 20 applications interested to get internship for free. 20. And this is National University of Singapore. It's not, I mean, it's a top, right now, if I look at the latest ranking, I think it's top 11 in the world. So it's a high quality students that are willing to dedicate their time to do internship. It was a good timing because many of them was on break because it was already May, the class is finished, and they didn't know what to do. It's pandemic, they stuck at home, and we offered working from home. So that's how I grew the team from undergrad and from MBA. So from different, so in total from zero, full-time, I grew a team to, at one case it was 15, 1-5, starting from developers to marketers to researchers, and we were working, and it's amazing time. And of course, right now, many of them went back to school. They couldn't do full-time, but they do project-based. Because within this period of time, we build this trust-based relationship, and having interns from NUS was good. But then I'm also teaching at KazU in Kazakhstan online live. So, and I have a tradition that I take some interns from my classes. So I also did this time. So it was already international internship. Yeah, like Kazakh students, Singapore students. And also then I approached ISEC. I worked at ISEC. Maybe some of you are ISEC members. It's an international student organization. They are in each part of the world, including Kazakhstan. So I was a member of ISEC when I did my studies at KIMEP. And I think Raushan, they're sitting still on the 4th floor of KIMEP building where Korea corporate services. It was there. So I remember walking there. So that kind of network that I built with ISEC, I called them here in Singapore. I said, hey guys, I'm looking for interns. I know that you are recruiting interns from many countries. They say, yeah, right now we're running this program. and we have a pool of interns interested to work, boom. And then we got another pool of interns. So that's called entrepreneurial mindset. There is no closed door. You just need to find different doors to open. So I touch upon these 5 general points that gave me a bravity. I know is it right word in English, but courage to start and run, and if there's challenges, to keep going. Now let me just go to technicalities of opening company in Singapore. Based on my experience, once again, it can be different experience for different people for various reasons, but I'm going to share my experience. Yeah? So in order to establish a company in Singapore as a foreigner with limited resources, first of all, you should know that you should have local director. Because without local director, you can't open a company in Singapore. Why? Again, back to practicality. If anything wrong with the company, they should find somebody in Singapore to be responsible for the actions, correct? As a foreigner, you can establish, you can put money, do various stuff and go back. And then what will government do? They need a person to find responsible for the actions of the company. So that's why a local director. And I'm super glad that my mentor agreed to support at that initial stage to give the birth to the company, to agree to be a local director. And it's a lot of responsibility because you are responsible if anything goes wrong. So you see here, you should be in a very trust-based relationship. So I'm super glad for that. So I was lucky, but that luck is earned luck, I would say. Whenever you ask me whether people are lucky, they are not lucky. They earned that luck because I worked for my mentor's startup when I was a student. So that gave him opportunity to know me better. And when he saw that I'm opening company, I think that was a driver. So one thing you have to understand is the local director. Yes, you can be 100% shareholder of the company, as I am for Sawa Strategy. You can be as a foreigner, no issue at all, but you must have local director. If you want to apply for any grants, as I told before, in Singapore, you should give 30% of your equity to Singapore citizen or PR. PR means permanent resident. Again, for practicality reason, because Singapore government wants to give money, funds to kind of companies where there is a citizens involved, not like a shell company, foreigners come, then make money and put it, go back. So these are 2 basic stuff. And of course, if you go to nitty-gritty of legal type, I established a private limited company. So Sawa Strategy Private Limited Company with 100% shareholder being me, with a local director. And you have to understand, you have to write. There is a in Kazakhstan, you do it also through e-gov. Everything in Singapore, you have to do it through corporate secretary. As a foreigner, you can't go and type and create a company. You must have corporate secretary who has a license to do that, and to do it online through ACRA. ACRA, I don't know how it stands, but it's probably yeah. So it's accounting. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Carol can say. Carol, we can't hear you, but maybe later. Okay, so ACRA. So everything is put in there. You put your who is directors, who are shareholders, what is the direction of the company? What are you going to do? Is it management consulting? Is it education or something? So you put there. And another important, you have to put paid in capital. And here's the trick. I didn't have a lot of money to put as a paid in capital. And I also had to apply for EP. If you want to stay as a foreigner here, you should have employment pass. It's like your business visa here. So in order to do that, you should pay yourself salary. So your company must pay your salary, yeah? And as I told, the minimum salary that must be provided if you're with a family is 6.5 Singapore dollars. The more the better, by the way, the more the better. So like a rule of thumb, usually in order to give a business visa, but it's already another ministry's regulation, but you should have a 6 months of salary as part of your paid-in capital. It's like rule of thumb. You can put millions of dollars, of course, if you have, but Singapore government will check where the money comes from, whether it's money laundering. And right now it's a very strict on money laundering. So they should see that it's earned money by you, not corrupted money, no kind of criminal money can enter here. And right now it's getting stricter and even more stricter. And I'm very glad it because of practicality again. So in my case, yeah, I put it, I mean, I can't tell you everything, of course, yeah, but I put it paid-in capital. It was not so big. And then I applied for EP, I got it. And for EP, here is another trick based on the employment pass during pandemic was also hard to get. But I think the crucial role, if you ask me why it was done, is because I got my diploma from National University of Singapore MBA program. I think that was also important factor if you would like to run a business in Singapore. Having degree from renowned university here, I'm not sure whether it's true or not, but I think it gives some leverage to you. Again, because I paid for my education at NUS MBA. It's also investment to Singapore. It also shows my credentials that I can at least think and know what to do. It's like a certificate that as I'm joking, that I'm not a camel, yeah, something like that. So so that one was important. What else in terms of technicalities? Yes, of course, you should have corporate secretary who will do your books, who will do your annual meetings. And Carol Kwok is my corporate secretary. And when any issue or any question, this is a person who will advise you on anything related with corporate questions. Let me stop here because I have been talking quite a while for almost 40 minutes. Some of people, I think, bored, maybe not. I hope not. So I think, Dinara, if you can allow students to ask, not students, I don't know who is the audience here. If you can tell me who is the audience, I would really appreciate too.
I think most of them students.
Okay, good.
And the others are alumni.
Okay, great.
And so you can ask questions. Is it okay for you to write it down to the chat and I will read it, okay, Akhmet?
Yeah, oh, perfect. Or if somebody has a good looking background, or they are in the office and they want to turn on the camera and ask, I would really appreciate it because at least I can see and we can build network. That's also interesting.
Okay, guys, you can ask questions. And may I start?
Yes, please, Dinar. Otherwise, when
Akhmet,
it's a silent, it's always a challenge.
What about the taxes? How
okay.
much is it?
What about taxes? Okay, the taxes in Singapore, corporate tax is progressive. What does it mean? Up to certain amount, you're not paying taxes, the more you pay taxes. So I think Carol will be more good at it in terms of the numbers, but I think it's if you have less than the revenue is less than 100,000 Singapore dollars, you don't pay tax. If it is from 100,000 to maybe 500,000, so it's a gradual, and it can't go more than I think more than 12% or 15%, but it goes steadily, 3, 5, 7, 10, 12.
Okay.
Yes, Carol? Carol, I think something with your microphone, it doesn't work.
Better?
Yeah,
Is this
now,
better?
yeah.
Right, okay. Generally, for newly incorporated companies in Singapore, they get a 75% tax exemption on the first 100,000 of profit. Okay, so the first 100,000, you get exemption on 75% of it, and you're taxed at 17%. So there's no tax on dividends. There's no tax on capital gains. There is no double taxation when you're operating overseas. There are a lot of tax deductions and incentives. It just depends on what sort of company you have. And the basic tax rate is 17%. So if you make 100,000, I need to take my calculator for this. So if you
Okay.
make 100,000, right,
I think,
get an exemption.
Yeah. Good. Thank you so much. You see, even because I so trust Carol, so Carol deals with that. Dinara?
Okay, thank you. And there is one more question about tax from Elmira. Are there any cases of tax avoidance by businesses in Singapore?
Plenty, everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. There is tax evasion, and there's tax avoidance. So I would teach you how to avoid tax, but I will not teach you how to evade tax. So there's plenty in Singapore. Don't worry, it's not so clean.
Yeah, but what I will tell from the founder's perspective, you have to pay taxes. If it is under the regulation, you have to pay taxes because government gives you a lot of support also.
Yes.
They give you security, they give you some benefits. But if you will play with the government, the terms will be really bad for you. So that one. So in Singapore, you just follow the rules and you'll be good. Even government will support you for being like that. So that's and this what Sawa strategy is following always. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. And one more question from Nurai. Do you think that business in Singapore is more prospective and profitable than in Kazakhstan?
Thank you. Very, if I look at it, very deep question. Because somebody will argue that doing business in Kazakhstan could be easy than in Singapore. But only big but. In Singapore, I would say doing business is much easy because everything follows the rule of law. That's a very important point. Whatever is written in the law and you follow it, that will be the case. And that's why it's very transparent. It's very clear. You just need to have a good corporate secretary and it goes like that. And what it means, since there are many multinational companies, many SMEs, the business will come. You just need to follow this adaptability, entrepreneurial mindset within your services calculation. In Kazakhstan, if you, I'm very transparent on that, is sometimes, even though you follow the rules, something wrong happens and some, I don't know, unnecessary, how can I say, checks comes, you didn't do that, you didn't that. So even though doing business in Kazakhstan, according to this ranking, is quite good, I think in 30s, yeah, something 32 or 35. Singapore in doing business is top 3, by the way, maybe number 1. So I think this shows the difference. Okay.
Okay, Thank you. One more question from Nurali. Do foreign investors have big interest in Central Asian region? If so, what sectors of economy are they most interested in, other than oil and gas?
Are we talking about Singapore foreign direct investments to Central Asia? That one?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, right now, due to, first of all, not many companies in Singapore consider Central Asia as a market, by the way. That I have to admit. And this is also one of my indirect agenda is to promote Central Asia as a market and just to create awareness about this, educate the local companies, because many companies hear for the first time about Kazakhstan and Central Asia market from me many times. And I just explain, I show on the map, I show opportunities, and they say, wow, why we're not there? I say, I don't know. So let's sign a contract and go there. One Belt, One Road, it's a great hook for companies to consider about Central Asia, by the way, because Singapore companies have experience working with Chinese companies, and through One Belt, One Road, there's a lot of collaboration with Chinese companies. So that one. Another direction is education. So right now, Singapore education products are considered to be high quality in the international arena. So, and they're looking for expansion in Central Asia too. And the last one is agriculture too, because especially with pandemic and Singapore being a very, small country, is they're looking for different sources of food. And of course, Central Asia becomes a target for that, where investment can come.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And Akhmet, Jenny wants to add some comments. And Jenny, can you please turn on the mic?
Hello, Akhmet. Hi, this is Jenny.
Hello,
so
Jenny.
We know each other. Yes, I come here to support your talk. So thank you for sharing all your experience. I think really like hearing a person who has been doing a business on the ground like you is a very like inspiring, I believe, like for today's participants. But I just listening to your talk and a couple of questions. The reason I would like to also provide a quick comment because in the last more than a year, I also in Singapore. I believe like what people ask like, hey, how about doing the business in Singapore? I think it's not like physically doing business in Singapore. A lot of people about Singaporean or Southeast Asian or international investors, they come to Singapore, it's not necessarily just looking at Singapore because they just want to use Singapore as a platform, right? So you have your financial, fundraising, and so on. Then they will do their business in other overseas markets. So a lot of, for example, Indian coming to Singapore, open the headquarters and the bank accounts, and then they continue doing their business in India or in other Southeast Asia. So I believe it is the same, like even though we are from Central Asia, so we still can consider the option like coming to Singapore, open account and create this kind of office. And here it can help us like a better to fundraise, but we still can continue doing our businesses in Central Asia or in the other part of the world. So that is just kind of like a quick want to clarify because Singapore is only the same as the Kyrgyzstan, like population only 6 million, 5 million. So we don't really look at even Singaporeans, they don't really look at Singapore as a market. So they're just using this and then to go overseas. So it's just like a very quick comment. And in addition to that, Akhmet, and while your partner Carol is also here, I wonder if you can comment on the current COVID situation, because on the one hand, you mentioned like you have to have this local Singaporean or permanent resident as a director. I agree, it is an accountability issue. But on the other hand, of course, Singaporean governments, they also want to give more job opportunity for local. Right? So especially during the global pandemic, so many Singaporeans losing their jobs. So now the governments are doing a lot of compensation for Singaporean residents, so that foreigners now they are losing actually competitive advantages like being in Singapore. So
Correct.
could you, and then also some businesses, they may not have the profit or income. So could you and Carol also comment on this? What is the current situation now doing business in Singapore during the global pandemic? Because government having so many compensation to the local company. So are foreigners like you, your company getting advantage from this, and how you still remain the competitive advantages? Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. And by the way, thank you, Jenny, for coming. Jenny is a master student at Lee Kuan Yew School of National University of Singapore. She's from Kyrgyzstan, but she stays right now in Singapore. So super glad. And Jenny is one of the, what is a global shaper? Yes, Jenny. And she is also in education. So thank you. Jenny, thank you for comment. I can talk about my business in terms of the COVID-19. And unfortunately, I'm not, I don't receive any subsidy from the government for the main reason, because 100% is owned by me, by foreigner. So I don't get any support from the government, zero support from the government. So, and you say, oh, then how? It's hard, it's hard. But as you see, I'm smiling. As you see, Carol is taking care, making sure that all the books are correct. And you just, in this situation, need to adapt. You can't take more projects that you can deliver with a small team. That one. And I'm right now, of course, thinking to onboard Singapore citizen or PR for my consulting company. But that should be very strategic. Because we're not building a shell company. It should be a real, genuine interest in this business to be a partner. So that one we're doing, but we don't receive any support because I did it. I mean, I did 100% shareholding. It's my own choice, and I was expecting these challenges. So it's just, as I said, onboarding, support from outside, delivering only on projects that you can deliver. You should be very clear on that with your client. You can't overpromise here, and grow just little by little, waiting to make sure that the salaries are paid, to make sure that I mean all the books are correct. That's how you go. But I had been in this situation already since March, yeah, so 7 months, still good. I mean, and I can't complain because this situation even gives opportunity for new projects that I would never have before, because we are in the, as you said, as of now, even companies from Africa are looking, oh, everything is online. Let us check how we can work with Singapore and then other Southeast Asian countries. And then they are coming to us. Of course, you should have a page like website. So we build that website. You should show what you're doing so that like cold calls can come. And I already received cold calls from different parts of the world. And if I was just those of you who asked questions about Kazakhstan, if I would run in Kazakhstan, I wouldn't receive these calls, but based here and doing genuinely, not like a shell, because there are many shell companies in Singapore, by the way. I just want to tell, there are many shell companies in Singapore just to have a bank account, just to be like considered Singapore companies and then operate in any part, in other parts of the world. I think it's not right. Because I mean, I'm not doing like that. I'm not judging, but we're not doing. We're here for sure, for long, and we're developing. It's not a shell company. So I hope I answered. But if you ask me what about other businesses, I think it's not relevant to me. I'm just focusing on mine and how I can deliver with limited resources.
Sorry, Ahmed, I just want to clarify again. So you mean even during the pandemic, if you do not have any income and a profit in Singapore company, but are you obligated still to pay for the taxes, or you have to pay for the salary of the directors, for example, which I'm sure is going to be like over 6,000 Sing dollar above and so on. So you still have some kind of cost, right? Even though you don't have the profit, you're obligated to pay.
You have to pay, yes. Yeah.
Right. And is it true, I heard, if you found a company, if you have minimum 30% of the shareholder, which you have a Singaporean citizens, then in this case, the government will provide the compensation or have more kind of preference policy. Can you also comment, and Carol also for this? Thank you.
That's true, Jenny. If I provide 30% of my company to Singapore citizen and PR, I will get all the benefits that government provides, yes.
The Singapore government currently is providing job support schemes to pay salaries in certain sectors. So there is support for Singapore companies, for employees across all the sectors. Does that answer your question, Jenny?
Yeah, great. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. Another question from Darika, our student.
Maybe somebody can turn on the camera. Otherwise, it's not interesting. We want to see. We're missing Kazakhstan too. Please.
Okay. Can I tell personally then?
Yes, please.
This is Darika.
Okay. Can you see me? Hello. I'm from Kyrgyzstan. So actually, I'm really interested in Singapore and living there and working there actually. So do we have an opportunity to get internship or some experience in your company? And
for sure.
What kind of problem did you face during moving to Singapore or something like that, like passport things or some, because as I heard, Central Asia countries, the rules are really strict for us, as I've heard. So what kind of problems did you face?
Thank you, Darika. Let me go one by one. Yes, you can apply for internship with my company for sure, and you will work on real projects. But as again, I mentioned before, I'm looking in the person such qualities as discipline, integrity, creativity. So you see, it's all, and of course, depending on your skills, you'll do different projects. And it's going to be, as of now, it's online live. It's only online because you're not allowed to come to Singapore during the pandemic. Yeah. So that one you can. That's how you can get exposure to real projects here, and we'll have discussions regarding how I get here technically, like the passport wise. It was not issue for me because I came here as a student. I applied. I was a student of National University of Singapore MBA program, so that's how I came to Singapore. And after that, I stayed here after graduating, working for corporate, and then opening the company. So I really build up. Singapore government, I really enjoy. It's just so practical and so supportive for talents. If you prove that you're talented, Singapore government will not give you any obstacles. That's what I want to say. But if you do some strange stuff, you'll be deported right away. No question. Right away.
Yeah, actually, yes, I have friends there, and they always talk about the Singapore and their government restrictions, and yeah. Thank you so much.
No problem. I think somebody else wants to ask question.
There's one question from Alima.
Okay, please.
Ahmed, I will read it. Ahmed, I had several students from Singapore. They shared their experience of life in Kazakhstan and Singapore. The life in Singapore is very active and intensive. For people from KZ and Central Asia, it is difficult to adapt to such rhythm of life. How was your experience to new culture, new conditions, especially starting in a business?
Thank you. I like this question of culture because I mean, as you mentioned, Dinara, I worked in Korea, I worked in the United States, in London, I work, of course, in Singapore, Kazakhstan, and I get exposure to learn about Chilean culture, Belgian culture, Philippines culture. So, and what I found the most important in intercultural communication business is to be genuine. Let me explain. To be genuine, it means you shouldn't behave differently in different cultures. You'll say, wow, what a strange statement. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you should follow the rules of the country, correct? It's a rule of law, always. It will never hurt if you do everything according to the law, never hurts. Second, you should be very open to explore new culture. I mean, something that is different than yours, it doesn't mean that it's wrong or right, it's just different, and you should be open to accept it. Yeah. So I will be very frank, like very specifically about Singapore and living here. You know, when people die, especially if you stay in government buildings, the during the ceremony where relatives comes and say their kind of condolences is run in the outside yard. For me, it was, you know, mind blowing in the beginning. I was just because like in Kazakhstan, it's not like that. Yeah, it's like in a special dedicated places, but here it was like right downstairs. Yeah, it can be for 2 days, 3 days with the music. So I couldn't understand that until when I asked. I was very open. I asked my friend. They explained it's because of the, of course, the territory, space limits, so all of that. So here is the most important. You ask questions. The asking questions, being open to receive and to not to judge, but say it's just different, yeah, and to respect that. That's important. And another thing is to stay positive. If you start complaining that is wrong, or I don't know, I want a home, it will not work. You will not enjoy. Staying positive, it means having another lecture that I was giving, having a growth mindset, a mindset where you just take it as a growth. So that's what I want to say. I follow all of that, being very genuine, always be transparent, respect the culture, follow the rule of law, and create a network with the local population. That's a crucial. That's how you will learn. If you always stay within your kind of Kazakhstan community, Central Asian community, and not integrate with local community, not good. I mean, we know our neighbors, and actually, the good thing, I stayed first year at the dormitory, student dormitory, that gave exposure to understand different cultures there. And then we moved to a government building, like a government housing. So we knew more about Singapore culture when we start talking with our neighbors, like a real time, having dinners together, like watering plants together, sharing the food together. So that's, I think it's important. Did I answer your question?
I think yes.
Okay.
And,
Can I ask a question here?
Nuray, could you please wait for a minute? There is one question from Batarkhan, and then you will turn on the mic, okay?
Okay.
The question from Batarkhan: is your annual turnover higher than SMB in Kazakhstan? If no, why starting business abroad?
Is your turnover, yearly turnover, is higher than in Kazakhstan? Then if not, why not staying in Kazakhstan?
Yeah.
Oh,
not,
okay.
Why starting business abroad?
Okay. Good. So first of all, the year is not finished yet, so I can't say the numbers. But already as of now, whatever is being earned here, it's of course higher than if I would earn in Kazakhstan. I mean, in terms of the monetary value, correct? As a gross value. But it's normal because the prices are here higher. If I can charge, for example, in Kazakhstan for similar service, $1,000, here it will be $6,000 or $10,000, and it's a industry norm because of the salaries that people receive here, yeah, and that I need to pay too. So that one is like that. But having said that, even though even in Kazakhstan I would earn more, I would still come here for future growth. And that's what colleague Jenny was saying, that Singapore is a hub for Asia, especially Southeast Asia. And if you are looking at the trends, the growth will be in this part of the world, not Europe, not United States, but in this part because of the huge population, because of the SME growth, and just exploring. And it's not easy. Once again, it's easier to stay in Kazakhstan and just be within this bubble and do that. But as one of our good businessmen in Kazakhstan said, that we are all champions in Kazakhstan, but once we go abroad, we're nobody. Why? Because it's the highest competition. And if you prove that you can do abroad, I mean, it's not proving, it's just doing the business abroad. It's harder, but the reward is better, and the growth is better too. Okay, I hope I answered that one.
Okay, thank you. Nuray, you could ask a question.
Yes, this question is actually connected to this one. So I wanted to ask you about your working experience in Korea, because I'm interested in this country too. So for example, so can you compare your working experience here and, for example, in Singapore? And if you had a choice to open a business in Korea, would you do this, or would you stay in Singapore?
Wow, thank you for asking that question, because there is a two difference in my experience working in Korea and in Singapore. In Korea, I worked for the government of Kazakhstan. So I received salary from government of Kazakhstan. It's a different, it is as if I was working in Kazakhstan, but I was moved to Korea. I was the director of Kazakhstan Korea Technology Cooperation Center. So my goal was to bring Korean technologies to Kazakhstan through joint venture, through direct transfer of technology, through R&D, through human capital exchange. Yeah. So at that time, I didn't see how businesses are incorporated in Korea, because it was not my focus at all. Yeah. So I cannot comment on that. But when I didn't see many Kazakhstani companies actually in Korea, by the way. I didn't see like a registered Kazakhstani companies in Korea. If you ask me why, I cannot tell you. We should research, maybe because I don't know, there could be different reasons for that. In Singapore, I can answer this question because I work here in the corporate and I was running my company. And right now, by the way, I'm establishing a second company in Singapore. It's not consulting, it's EduTech. It's a tech startup. And hopefully with Carol, we'll figure out all the nitty-gritties of the shareholder agreement, because we have, I'm not 100% shareholder here. I have a co-founders. So we need to make sure that all the shares are distributed, and we're building the railways for the future. And who knows, maybe we'll go to IPO, yeah? So that's why I can comment on Singapore, running a business here. If you ask me, but I have clients from Korea. I have actually more than 3 clients from Korea, because while in Korea, I worked in Korea for 2 years. I built a lot of trusted relationships. that help me right now. And but if you ask me where I prefer to, if I have a chance to open a company in Korea or here, I would say here. Because here I have access to Southeast Asia market. It's a very specific market, and Singapore is the great place to explore here. Okay, and another very important point in Korea, it's you must know Korean language to run the business. You must know. But in Singapore, you must know English. So that's why I think this is a very important criteria for me, because in Korea, I always had to talk with translators. But here I can work myself.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. One more question about the internship in your company from Rosa. I'm also eager in working abroad, especially in Singapore. Is there any opportunities to get an internship? Is there an intense competition among those candidates? How do you confront emergencies like this unexpected pandemic?
I mean, yes, of course you can apply. Please send me your CV on LinkedIn, and I hope, Dinara, if you can share my LinkedIn with colleagues who will participate, more than welcome. Please send, and I will look at it. There is no strict competition, but I also had a not positive experience with interns. Why? Because sometimes on paper, everything is good. I do first interview is good, but when the assignment is given, deliverables are not there. And there is sometimes not responsible. And, you know, sometimes it's painful to just to say sorry after you're already onboarded, to say you can't deliver. So and I start working with them. I kind of course, guide and try to build, but pure interest working abroad and have an internship is not enough. You should also have a hard skill too for that, in addition to being honest, of course, credible, of course. So you will work with on real projects. So confidentiality is important. Yeah, that's it. And we can start. As of now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, thank you. And the second part of the question, how do you confront emergencies like this unexpected pandemic?
You just, you know, at this situation, when you confront emergencies, you know, you have your brains, you have your entrepreneurial mindset, you have a piece of paper. Oops, I think my camera went down, so I will go to FaceTime. Correct? Okay, so I changed right now cameras. So sorry, it's not like a high quality Canon camera right now. It's just a normal computer camera. So the challenge is you have a piece of paper, you have a pen, you know all of the theories we learn at school, and you can just draw and connect the dots. And if you find that niche, and to find that niche, sometimes it takes a lot of time, yeah? And if you read up the news, you come up with the trends, you find this small door to test, you need to test, and it's important to act right away. Not to wait, because waiting is killing. You should find, test, go, didn't work, come back again. So the faster you do it, the better. And I think during this, I did many iterations of that. Some worked, some didn't work, some worked, some didn't work. But as a result, you get better. First of all, you get experience. That's important, very tangible. Second, you at the end have a net plus. Okay.
Okay, thank you. One question from Elmira. How easy or difficult did your family integrate into another culture environment?
My daughter, she can speak right now, of course, fluent English, Kazakh, Russian, and a little bit of Chinese. She started learning, and she's very proud of that, because in our family, only she can speak Chinese. Because it's mandatory at kindergarten to speak, to learn Chinese.
How old is
she's almost 5 years old, and I have a son. He's 1 year old. When I ask him which languages he speaks, he says he speaks 10 languages. So whether it's true or not, I have no idea. But he says 10 languages. Of course, I'm joking. He's not speaking any language right now. But my wife, I mean, she is also very adaptable as I am. So she's also exploring different opportunities, and having the friends from local communities is also important. So I think we have integrated with the local culture quite easy, but because we traveled before, so it's not so hard for me. That's why I'm saying I'm just talking about me. I mean, our case. But in order to get to this stage, I mean, I traveled a lot. I lived in the United States for 3 years, and then I lived in London maybe for 7 months, in Korea for 2 years. All of that was super hard at the beginning. It's a cultural shock, as I say. So I think I got this different vaccinations. I mean, like a mental vaccination that helped me to be immune and to adapt to new environments easily.
Okay, thank you. Akhmet, does your wife have a Western degree too?
My wife has a degree from KazGU, but also she did exchange at Dongguk University in Korea. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And because of that, we met actually with her. If she wouldn't do exchange, we will not see each other.
Wow. One more question from Nurali. With the political situation in Hong Kong, do you witness mass migration of firms from Hong Kong to Singapore?
Yes, I can witness that. No, Carol, I can witness that. I mean, I see that companies are moving here, especially talents. Human capital movement is going on, especially in fintech moves here. I can feel it, but I'm just telling from my perspective. Yeah, maybe in my environment, people are moving. So, for example, I already know 2 companies moved from Hong Kong here to Singapore because it's a safe environment. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Akhmet. I guess it was the last question. And there was a lot of comment with thank you, great, good luck. Thank you for the answer and the patience.
Yeah, no problem. And I'm very thankful for organizing this. I hope that information gave you some insights, and please, I can write down my LinkedIn. I am quite heavy user of LinkedIn. If you don't have LinkedIn yet, I recommend you to have it because especially at this situation, many I was working at the executive search. So I can tell you one tip. As of now, whenever we're looking for talents, the first thing we check LinkedIn. If you don't have LinkedIn, we say something wrong with that person. I put it that's wrong. Not that one. It's my this is my Zoom, but where's my LinkedIn? Just a moment. Here we go. Yeah, this is my LinkedIn, as you can see. And you know, I also would love to see KIMEP student as an intern or maybe sometimes a full-time employee, because really it's a great university, and all of my how can I say, university life is associated the beginning with KIMEP. And whenever I'm in Almaty, I'm always visiting KIMEP. I go to canteen. Right now, I don't know what's the name of that canteen. Before it was KIMEP Grill.
It's the grill is in the reconstruction, is under reconstruction.
Yes.
So it's not working now.
Because I lived in dormitory always, so I'm quite familiar with the environment.
Okay. Thank you very much, Akhmet, for such an interesting presentation, and thank you for all participants for your questions. And on behalf of KIMEP top management, and thank you, Carol.
Carol, thank you so much. You're the best. Taking the time and being with us for 1.5 hours. I think you saw some Kazakh faces. So you know not only me, but others from Kazakhstan. So you'll see they're very gentle people, very smart people. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you, Akhmet.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. I wish you all the best. Stay safe and healthy.
Yeah. Thank you, Junara. Thank you.